Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to share codename Blendizzard. We'll figure it out. But this is my zero loss gaming contract that I've been working on for almost a year, on and off. I've had to learn a lot. We've had to let the network kind of catch up. But here we are. I'm going to walk you through rather than try to just explain everything. Yes, there's an interface to click on, but the real beauty is the contract itself and what it enables. Essentially, to use Blend as a protocol to generate yield that you then distribute to gamers as they play games. By way of example, I have two developer accounts, player one. I'll do player two over here. Just have one game, but the idea is that there's a game library, loads and loads of games that other people make. I don't have to make them all. We'll have in Protocol 25, we'll have a lot of zero knowledge stuff coming out, so gaming should be able to pop off now in a safe and sustainable way on Stellar. For now, I just got a really basic number guess game. You will notice that I went ahead and selected a faction. What are factions? Well, there are three right now factions inside of this gaming contract. You pick which faction you want to be a part of, and then you play games contributing faction points to those factions, and then you'll be able to claim rewards if your faction won for that epoch. So epochs right now will be closing every 4 days. We'll play around with that based off of how many deposits we have. The more deposits that people make into the gaming vault that generates yield, probably the faster those epochs could close. So we'll just keep an eye on it. And then after those epochs close, you cycle the epoch. It looks at whichever faction has the most points, and then that faction is able to claim the yield based off of the players and how many faction points they contributed to their faction during that epoch. Okay, so I've got my account, I've got my wallet here, and I can contribute from my wallet balance into the vault. So I have $2 left in my wallet, $2 left in my wallet, and 3.8 contributed to the vault, which gives me a total for this epoch to contribute over 400 faction points for Special Rock, the faction that player one here is selected. One cool thing with faction points is they recycle every epoch, so you're not really spending them, you're more like committing them to that epoch, and then they recycle every single epoch. And there are bonus multipliers, both for how much you contribute to the vault and also how long you hold it. So there's a multiplier that goes from 0, obviously, up to a target number. A target number of dollars. I think I said it right now at $1,000 is the target, and 30 days holding. So the closer you get to 30 days and the closer you get to $1,000 deposited, you maximize your multiplier potential. Beyond that, it begins to taper off to another target, which I think was maybe a year and $100,000 or maybe $10,000, at which point there are no more multipliers. So this tries to help balance rewarding early players and early commitments, like staying deposited, while not allowing whales to just absolutely destroy everybody in the lobby. We'll play around with these numbers. People can leave feedback as they have it, but some cool numbers to play with there to try and balance out good behaviors. Okay, but let's go ahead and play. Let's play a game. So I've got my number guess game. I'll need both players' addresses in order to create this game. The different ways you could manage this, pre-commitments. Really, at the end of the day, this number guess game is its own contract that gets added as a playable game to Blendizzard. So I'm going to grab a hold of dev player 2's address here. I'll have player 1 contribute, let's say, 41 of the wager. And then player 2, they'll contribute 79 to the wager. this will go ahead and prepare and export this transaction. You can either share the XDR or the URL, and then we'll import that. The player 2 can then review what it is that they're signing, and then sign to submit again. Don't get too caught up in the logic. I just vibe coded a basic dumb game to prove a point. We'll submit that, and that will then start this game for both players, where we get a nice little game interface here. This one should load up. There we go. I'll guess 5 and 6. So we'll submit this guess and let that one submit, and you'll notice the faction points have gone down. It doesn't exactly go back down to 0 like you might expect, because for that first game of an epoch, your faction points are increasing very slightly because the time has been going on longer. Once you play your first game for an epoch, your faction points lock in for that epoch, so that you can't like deposit, withdraw, do crazy stuff with your vault balances to try and fiddle with your faction points. That has to be done before you play your first game. Again, these things we can fiddle with, but that's what it is. One other thing to note is that if you withdraw greater than 50% of your total vault balance within an epoch, your time bonus goes back to 0. So you want to try and keep your vault balance above 50% epoch over epoch. Otherwise, you reset that time bonus. All right, both players have guessed. Anybody can submit the reveal winner method, which actually goes and generates the name. Oh, look at that. Special Rock, player 1 was the winner. This one should update hopefully in a minute. And then we cycle the epoch, doesn't matter who, anybody can cycle it, and that'll go from 11 to 12, which then also locks in the winning faction and the number of players for that epoch and for that faction and how many faction points they contributed, at which point we should see, when this one switches over, we have rewards to claim, and what we should see is this number here, the vault balance, go up when a claim is made. And this is all on mainnet, baby. This is all live. Happening right now. So when we claim that, after a short moment, we should see this 8616926 go up with some real live USDC. Obviously, I don't have much deposited into the vault, but look at that. We actually made some money for winning the guessing game. Super, super cool. We've got our faction points have been reset because we're in a new faction or in a new epoch. And I said that those are every 4 days during testing. I had it set at 1 minute so that I could test quickly before this goes live. I'll set that to 4 days. Okay. The one other thing I wanted to mention is just like what the flow looks like. I'm going to use Xpol over here. This guy is not yet selected his faction, so this is like what you would see initially. Maybe I'll pick Pointy Stick, and it basically just pulls up the wallet here. Let me pull up my password for that. All pretty normal stuff. Eventually I'll add smart wallets. I'll probably try and add the Open Zeppelin for that. But the wallets all work just fine. We've got 10 USDC here, so I could deposit 5. I've got no faction points at the moment. We'll submit that. We should see my USDC balance in my vault land, and then my faction points. It's 1 to 5 right now, and then you'll get bonus multipliers as you get closer to that $1,000 mark and the 30, I think it might be 35 day mark to multiply. So the 1-to-1 goes up to, I think it's 1 to 6 or something like that. You can review the code. It was all vibe coded. Not willy-nilly though. It took me a long time to figure out exactly what I wanted, but I'm very excited about this. The big thing right now is play around with it, have fun, and then start building games. We need to fill up this games library with lots and lots of fun, interesting games to play. Get ready for Protocol 25, which should be landing maybe sometime next year, early. We'll be ready with some ZK stuff. I think it might already be live on FutureNet. Things to play around with, getting ready. Not every game needs zero knowledge. A lot will, but it'll be very cool to fill this up with lots of games that people have this incentive to deposit into the fee pool. One of the reasons this is super cool is it's like I didn't come up with a fee vault, right? Script3, who makes Blend, came up with a fee vault. They obviously built Blend. I'm automatically converting BLND tokens into USDC tokens during epoch cycles via SoraSwap. There's all kinds of composability going on here. All the scary money stuff is happening by audited third-party contracts. I just built stuff on top of that. Super interesting. Yeah, cannot wait for people to play around with this. I'm going to go and beat the absolute bejesus out of some people in the number guessing game. So good luck. Have fun.